right where the brown meets the white. And you're gonna cut right up, right down here, right up to there, on each side, just like that. Preferably with a sharp knife, Avalon or something like that. Just like that, and you're gonna go right up the side. I did the same thing on this side, although I didn't finish it. You're gonna come right up. Just like that. And right where you stop gutting it, you're gonna cut right around the whole deer, and then you're gonna peel it all down. That's real easy. You're gonna cut right around basically the whole middle of the deer. And you got these cuts that come up, it all connects to your cut that goes around. Same on this side. And then you're gonna take these and you're just gonna peel it all the way down. Get it down as low as you can get it and cut it right off. Go ahead and take it right down the neck, as low as you can get it, right down towards the base of the neck. And the only cuts I made were just there, and that's it on each leg, tubed it all the way down. Then you're just gonna cut through that and take it right off just like that. You don't need to cut up the back of the neck at all. Now I got this cape off that deer, and we're gonna cape the hide off the skull. Every taxidermist that does this does it a little bit, they have their own preference. Some of them might prefer a T-cut, where they're gonna cut from the middle of this burr to the middle of that burr, and then come down. Some will do a little short Y, and they'll come from right about here, down to there. Some might even do what they call a 7. They'd come from here, and then like that. And honestly, it doesn't really matter. I kind of like a T-cut with longer hair deer, but where this is a short season, short hair, early season cape, I kind of like a short Y for those ones. So I'm just gonna cut from the back of each burr, right about here. I just started making a cut. I put the knife in right here, about 1.5 inches behind these burrs, 1 inch behind the burrs, went straight down. Nice smooth cut, just to below where I cut it off from the carcass. And now I'm gonna take this and join each cut. You just want, when you're doing this, you want to put the knife tip underneath the skin and carefully cut up through. I should probably almost change this Avalon blade because I just caped it, but it's still pretty sharp. Carefully cut up through right to the base of that burr. And you're going to do that on both sides, just like that. Very easy. I'm going to do this one right where that cut started. Might not be able to see it the best here. I'm gonna go just like that. I'm gonna spit it for myself. I don't have a steel with me to sharpen this blade, and I'm too cheap to put a new Avalon blade on it. But right when you get to that burr, I'm right there now. You just want to be careful not to cut the hairs. Then I'm going to grab this tab, this triangle, and I'm going to start peeling that back away from the skull, just like that. Now that I got this going a ways, some people will take a screwdriver, a big flathead screwdriver, and they'll shove it in there and go around. Some people grab a pair of pliers and grab this and just rip. Anytime I do that stuff, it seems like I always jab myself with a screwdriver, or I take them pliers and I rip too hard and I put a tear in here. So nowadays with these nice Avalon blades, I just use them and cut. Put that tip of that blade down in there and go right against the bone and go right up underneath the burr. And you try not to slice through the hide. You're just separating the hide from the base of the antler. And you just keep working it all the way around carefully. You'll have that freed right around that burr, just like that. That's pretty easy to do. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. It's still doing good, yeah. Dull it up a little bit of the bone there. You see, when I've cut down this back of the neck, especially with a short hair deer like this early season deer, you want to make as short of incision as possible. So when I scun that down off the carcass, I got it as close to the skull as I could with all the hide and then just saw through it. The closer you get that to the skull, the shorter cut you have to make here to get it all off. And I won't have to make any bigger cut than that to mount it and put it back together. So you have less stitching, but you have less, you have a smaller seam that will be noticeable on the finished mount. With long hair, it's not so much of a big deal. But short hair deer, you definitely always want to tube them. You don't want to cut them down the back, unless the only way you'd want to do that is if you're in the woods and you had to pack it out west or something. But if you're taking it out whole, there's really no reason at all to ever cut down the back, long or short hair. But just about free. There. Now once you get that free, both those antler burrs are free, you're going to still keep skinning it down against the skull here. We're going to get down near the eye. Pull this completely over. I take my hand and I tuck it up underneath. That way I can kind of feel what I'm doing. If you're going to cut too deep, cut through the hide, you're probably going to cut your hand first, and you'll know not to once you start feeling it. There, now we're getting back to the skin away from the meat of the neck, and it's easier to see what you're doing. Now I'm almost to the eye here, and that's where you want to be careful again. You're going to keep peeling that right, put that knife right against your bone, basically, right around the eye orbit. And then when I get close like this, I take my finger, I put it right in the eye, to the back of the eye, and that will pull that skin away. And you don't want to cut through any of this eyelid skin. It's very hard to hide it down the road, if you can help it. So I'm almost there. Put that, now I can, right here, I can feel my finger up in there, so I know to cut right against the bone this way. If I cut down towards my finger, I'm cutting in the wrong spot. So you keep cutting through just like that. Now I can put my finger all the way through there and pull. And then down the front corner of the eye is the other tricky part. Here's a nictitating membrane right there. You want to cut towards the eye side of it. And you're going to put the knife in now and cut right against the inside of that skull, the eye orbit. Because if you cut here, what you're going to do is you're going to cut through your tear duct here. And that actually sits up in there a little ways. You don't want to cut that. So pull that down and cut right against the skull. See, I almost went through there. It's really easy to cut through that tear duct. It can be repaired, but you try your best not to. There, now I've got all the way through there. And you'll see that little indentation in the skull. That's that tear duct. That's why it's so easy to cut through it. I've got this side, just like this side. It's all free from the eyes now. And what I typically do then is I go right up here at the front and I peel the lip skin away from the front side. You're gonna pull this lower lip down basically, and you're gonna start cutting around the gum line right against the bone. Right up basically where the tooth and gum line meet each other. You're going to start cutting to separate all that. You can do it from the back side, but it's easier if you do it from the front side to not make a hole. Starting to get dark out. Feels like August, not September. It's supposed to get cold after this. So.
Like tomorrow is the start of the new
Cool
weather
weather,
pattern.
yeah. Leaves are turning. So we're getting there. So I got that basically all the way down, almost. And I'm gonna go to the top lid. This top section, a little bit tougher to see. You're gonna, right here, where the hard part of the mouth and the gum line is, you're gonna start cutting basically right there in that soft tissue to start separating it. And cut all the way back up in the mouth as far as you can reach with a knife, right up alongside the back molars there, and start separating it that. Now here you're going to have to cut through the nose cartilage. There you go. And I'm going to take the knife and go right up into that back gum line. Now I'm back on the skull again, and I've just got skin there, you'll see. So I've got it cut all the way around the skull. Now once I get to that point, I'm just going to come right back here and keep peeling it down, and we'll be done here in just a second. Right here, you're going to feel that's up in that gum, so you're going to have to cut through that till you hit the teeth. The jawline there, just like that. And then in just a second, you'll hit those front cuts and they'll all connect. Just like that, it's done. That is a nice cape.